The woman accidentally discovered that her husband, who had claimed to be working overtime, had instead taken a female colleague to a small street-side motel. At first, she couldn't believe it was true, but after the initial heartbreak, she felt a surge of determination. She approached the front desk and cleverly obtained the room number, intending to confront the shameless pair and teach them a lesson. However, when she reached the door and heard the unmistakable sounds coming from inside, her courage to confront them face-to-face evaporated. As she walked past a small convenience store, an idea struck her: a way to make her husband pay for his betrayal. She dialed the police and reported that illegal activities were taking place at the motel. Sure enough, the police arrived and took her husband and his colleague away. As the family member, the woman went to bail her husband out, overwhelmed with guilt. Her husband swore he would never cheat again. Little did she know, this moment marked the beginning of their family's true unraveling. The woman, originally from a rural background, had little education or specialized skills, so she made a living as a street vendor. Her fiery temperament had earned her a notorious reputation on the street, and many people sympathized with her husband. After all, he held a decent job as a workshop supervisor and was known for his gentle and polite demeanor. However, due to the disparity in their social statuses, the husband had little say at home, from major decisions like housing allocations to minor ones like moving expenses. Everything was dictated by the woman. Over time, the husband felt suffocated and eventually brought up the idea of divorce, but the woman dismissed it outright, not taking him seriously. As time went on, the husband grew increasingly distant and rarely came home. By the time the woman realized something was wrong, he had already fallen for someone else. Refusing to accept this, she thought that by reporting him to the police and making him feel guilty, she could win him back. However, when the factory found out about the incident, they immediately added him to the layoff list. Even when his elderly mother came to live with them, the woman showed no warmth, instead picking fights with her husband. The mounting pressure became unbearable for him. To make matters worse, the factory informed him that the incident had caused severe damage to their reputation and that it was his wife who had reported him. Hearing this, the husband felt all hope slip away. Overwhelmed by everything that had happened, he chose to end his life by jumping into the sea. When the woman received the news and rushed to the scene, all that remained was a suicide note from her husband, but as she opened it, she found that he had left messages for his mother and son, but not a single word for her. In that moment, the woman couldn't understand what she had done wrong. Her young son ran up to her, screaming that she was a murderer. His words cut through her heart like a knife. Despite the pain, she resolved to keep the family afloat. She gave up her street vending and started doing hard manual labor. No matter how exhausted she was or how much money she earned, her son continued to treat her like an enemy. To him, she was the reason he no longer had a father.